Hey there. In case you were wondering where Waldo is, I found him in Salmon Arm. Just wanted to jump on here. It's Pastor Will, and just taking a little bit of a break in the middle of a 60-kilometer bike ride. Had a nice tailwind coming into town, so it's been a good ride so far. And anyways, wanted to just check in with you as a VAC family, and I'm going to try and do this on a weekly basis. Got different things that might be prudent to share. And one of the things that has been stirring in my heart and is probably something that's a little bit kind of in my wheelhouse is the whole idea of spiritual disciplines or particular practices or rhythms that we have a part of our routine and life that sustain us, especially in seasons of crisis. I was reading again this morning about Corrie ten Boom, who, was a quiet soul, and yet because of some of the regular routines of her life, managed to be a real difference maker during the Second World War in Nazi Germany. And so I think one of the things that I think about even as we're in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic, it has unsettled a lot of us, and it feels very much like a real crisis, and a lot of our normals have been turned upside down and our routines have gone out the window. And I think one of the things that I was reminded of was in the book of Daniel, when a particular edict came down and everything kind of hit the fan. The text tells us that Daniel went to his window and he prayed as he had been in the habit of doing. And so, I think sometimes when tragedy strikes or a crisis happens or there's some sort of danger, and it's time to mobilize and get into action, sometimes then we want to start putting certain things into practice. And it's actually for those that have already had those rhythms as part of their lives and are able to sustain them then in the season of turbulence, they're the ones that are going to manage this the best. It doesn't mean that we can't pick up a routine or a habit or a practice that is good and healthy for us if we haven't done so before. Even now could be a good time to start something like that. And so in the coming weeks, I want to explore different rhythms, some that you might be familiar with, some that you might even be practicing in your own life, and maybe hopefully some new ideas, some creative ways of looking at old things like prayer, how to make that fresh, how to expand that beyond maybe what you've known up till now. And so, that's kind of my hope in these coming weeks as I come on board, just to explore different spiritual disciplines and habits and patterns of your life that hopefully will sustain you in this season. As I mentioned, this crisis has turned a lot of things upside down, and it's good for us to have some fence posts, certain things that we can count on in terms of our regular routine that help keep us grounded and help us to kind of, keep our equilibrium when it seems like a lot of things around us are shifting. I think that's enough for today. I want to keep these pretty short. I just wanted to kind of introduce where I want to go in a couple weeks. As I mentioned right off the top, I had a nice tailwind coming into Salmon Arm today, so I guess as I get on my bike, it's going to be a bit of a grind heading back. But that's kind of like spiritual disciplines too. Sometimes it's going to feel like those things just come natural, they're an easy rhythm, and you've got the wind at your back. And other times it's going to feel a little bit like you're going against the wind. And yet that's the whole point of a discipline, is to stick with it, to find a particular pattern and rhythm and see it through good seasons and challenging seasons. So anyways, great to connect with you in this way. Love to hear from you. If you've got a particular spiritual discipline that has been just really blessing you and keeping you grounded and stable and steady through the highs and lows of life. I'd love to hear what that is. Either send me an email, or if you've got my phone number, send me a text. Love to hear what you're doing in these days to kind of keep some sort of rhythm and pattern in your life. Love to hear about it. Anyways, talk to you again soon.